Hello everybody, welcome back to Its Current Year for another quick battle ladder replay. Today we are on the Tower of Hoth map. I am playing Mousillon, led by the Red Duke against Dionysos, who is taking the Lizardmen, led by Crockgar. So we'll get into the battle once it loads and we'll take a look at the forces. So I seem to get a lot of decent games on this map. I actually think it's a really good map. It's got a good, few good areas for Vanguard deployment. Obviously a lot of area in the trees here to hide, but also a nice open sort of main battlefield area. So I think it's one of the better maps in the map pool. So not all that unhappy that I get it quite often. But for my opponent, Dionysos, bit of a mixed front line. 2 units of red crested skinks in the front, one of which is the cohort of Sotek, obviously with their unbreakable and their refuse to die ability, which is handy, flanked by 2 units of skink cohorts, 1 unit of skink cohorts with silver chevrons actually put into them, and a unit of regular Saurus warriors, the unshielded variant. In the second row here we have 2 units of the Croxigors, just the regular variant, not the Power Fist variant, as well as another unit of skink cohort, again with silver chevrons in the back, with the Umbral Tide bringing up the rear. We also have a skink priest on a ancient stegodon with an engine of the gods. He has taken harmonic convergence and wind blast, as well as the cube of darkness, and will obviously have the burning alignment ability as a just as a natural ability that will come off cooldown. He's also taken a feral carnosaur, pretty good in this matchup because it's good at hunting things like Vargulfs if you see them. Trades reasonably well against Blood Knights. Good for sniping Vampire Lords. Nice and quick. Reasonably good stats and a good anti-large bonus. And we also have Crockgar here, who has been taken on a cold one. No items, so hasn't taken the Hand of the Gods or anything like that. So just basically a really good old blood on a cold one for the Lord. For my own forces, as said, I am playing Mousillon. 3 units of zombies out the front, so just the obligatory zombie speed bump. A couple of units of skeleton spearmen, 4 in total, as well as the Sternsmen in the second row. Sternsmen are a great unit, great at chewing through infantry, and can trade upwards against a lot of foes that you'd think they might otherwise struggle with, or that certainly that normal grave guards struggle with. We have the Hobocaster here, who is on a corpse cart, so he has the Forbidden Rod and the Raise Dead ability, as well as his sort of Mortis Engine effect, as well, and also his reverse Mortis Engine effects, restoring hit points to the front line, and the Vigor Mortis. Behind that we have 2 units of regular Black Knights. So again, good. They've got an anti-infantry bonus, so they're good at cycle charging through the zombies and things like that to wear down Saurus warriors and skinks and things like that. Behind them, the dire pack, so a bit of anti-large, something fast. And up in the sky here we have the Red Duke, who I am a big fan of. The Red Duke, he gets overshadowed a little bit by the vanilla Blood Dragon Lord, but let's have a look at him here. So we've got him up on his zombie dragon, obviously taking Elsif to buff his dueling potential, as well as Curse of Years, which is just another sort of general sort of area of effect debuff, which I like taking on him. I've also got the Invocation of Nehek on him, which I will probably basically just use as a self heal. Obviously with the Necromancer giving the area of effect sort of regeneration passive in the front line, I don't really need to overcast Invocation with the Red Duke and risk a miscast and take damage. So he's up in the sky just to patrol around, use his breath weapons. And over in a deep Vanguard, I have 2 units of chill hex wraiths, one of which is the chill geists, obviously with their chill aura, their slowing effect. So they will come into the getting them moved up nice and swiftly here. They will remain hidden as the battle starts off here, and we will begin the the slow trek across the field with our slow zombie frontline. I've also got a unit of Fellbats. I like taking just one, just to basically scout ahead, see if there's any chameleon skinks, and then if there are, you know, I might lap around and try and sort of box them in so they have to sort of think about, at least have something to think about and a little bit of a distraction, and they don't get shots into, you know, the Red Duke or into you know, into the Necromancer or anything like that, where I don't really want to be taking the damage. So obviously the battle lines are approaching one another here. The zombies will cop the brunt of it, obviously in the initial fighting, but that's exactly what they're there for. We also have a unit of Feral Cold Ones who are deployed out to the side there in the trees. I have obviously spotted the Umbral Tide at this point with the Fellbats, and I will be careful not to get the Red Duke too close. So letting the fighting start. I don't really want the Sternsmen anywhere near the Red Crested Skink, so I will be sort of pivoting them out of here in a little bit. And I do get a little bit blobbed up. This is a bit of a mistake for me here. I did send my Black Knights in first, just to get a bit of shock damage on the Skink cohort, but they're probably staying in here a little bit too long, and they're going to take a lot of damage from this Feral Cold One. Likewise, did the same over here with the Saurus Warriors. So they're obviously fighting through the zombies here, which will take a lot of the attacks in retaliation from the Saurus Warriors. I've peeled through here with the Dire Pack, just using the anti-large to try and get on the Skink Priest, and I've also summoned up a unit of zombies here from the Necromancer to try and pin these guys in. He's going to get a really nice burn in alignment here, and I've basically just decided at this point, get the Fellbats down onto the Umbral Tide. I want them retreating. I don't want them shooting. I want them to be spending as much of their time running as possible and not firing at my value targets. And now I have sort of shown my hand a little bit. I've got the Hex Wraiths and the Chillgeists in there coming out of the trees. They got a great charge off into the rear. Don't think they were really seen. I've left my Dire Pack in here a little bit too long. They probably should have pulled through, and I should probably have them on the Umbral Tide rather than the Stegodon, the Skink Priest here on the Stegodon. But I've pulled these Black Knights out around, and they are going to now go after the Umbral Tide. The Red Duke got a pretty decent breath attack off just before, but he's been just sort of looking around, seeing where he can best land, and there has been a big curse of years go down here just to basically nuke all the stats, and you see what it does to, you know, Red Crested Skinks. Melee attack down to 18, even Croc Guard down to well, he's down to 28, and he also has El Sif put down on him as the Red Duke comes down to engage him. But I realised pretty quickly I don't want him. Good use of Cube of Darkness there to reduce my mana recharge, but I don't want to be anywhere near this fight. And as you see, I pull out pretty quickly here. You know, a Carnosaur, Krokgar is anti-large as well. I don't want to lose the Red Duke to that. Even with El Sif going down here, you know, there is enough going on. But I have got some damage in at the very least on Krokgar. The infantry fight is sort of starting to, I guess, just sort of grind my way. The one downside of Red Crested Skinks is that they do not have good melee defense. So even against things like Skeleton Spearmen, even against things like zombies, they will take more damage than they really have any business taking. So my Chillgeists and Hex Wraiths trying to just pull out where they can, use their speed, not stay in protracted combats, get their charge bonus off, which is reasonable on both, and you know, not take any more damage than they need to in protracted combats. This sort of blob engagement here with a pretty healthy unit of Croxigores as well as 6 unit models here is looking a bit dicey. I don't have a lot of great anti-large, but I am going to get a rear charge in here with the Chillgeists and the Red Duke, just swamping down. Big alpha strike here on the Croxigores. They can be terror routed off, and you will see a couple of units be terror routed here. There they go, both of them in a row there. As I mentioned that, getting terror routed off by the rear charge and the presence of the Red Duke, who is still pretty healthy, and I believe it to this point has used 2 of his 3 breath weapons. The cohort of Sotek is sort of on its last legs. I think they might get one last refuse to die off, if memory serves. But as you see here, even zombies and Skeleton Spearmen, just with, you know, melee defense 25 isn't going to cut it in drawn out combats. But I am taking a bit of damage here on the Red Duke, so I have to bring the Chill Geist back in. The nice thing about this is that they also have the Chilling Aura, so these guys will have their movement slowed. And Elseif has gone down here on Croc-Gar to try and get as much sort of damage as I can. And I send a Curse of Years down here as well, which I probably should have done while I had the Red Duke fighting. I probably should have saved up there and tried to sort of go Elseif and Curse of Years whilst I still had the Red Duke in the fight. But see here, my infantry's reasonably healthy. I've been getting summons off and forbidden rods off with the Necromancer, who's also just providing a nice steady heal on these guys. One of my units of Hex Raids still has 31 unit models, but he's taking damage. The Chill Geists you know, they've done their bit, 88 kills, and they're certainly going to be pretty good here at rerouting off all this rallying infantry that is coming back into the fight. But this is where things start to get interesting. I am very blobbed up here in this sort of pit fight, and we'll see a massive burn in alignment go through the remainder of my infantry here. I do see this, and I do sort of try and pull through with my infantry, but I just obviously can't sort of really get too much done, and a massive amount of damage going down on my remaining infantry. Thankfully the Sternsmen avoided the worst of it, but a good use of the burning alignment there from the Skink Priest, who probably doesn't have a lot of Winds of Magic left at this point. So a bit concerning for me at the moment is the Feral Carnosaur is pretty healthy, Croc-Gar is reasonably healthy, and I've still got a Stegodon to deal with, and I don't have any real dedicated anti-large in this force. The Chillgeists with their physical resistance and their magical attacks are going to be good damage dealers, but the Sternsmen, they don't really have any infantry to fight or anything like that, so I'm just trying to sort of I'm waiting here for Elseif to come off cooldown once more before I jump back down on Croc-Gar or this Skink Priest, and I will try and I think I get a final breath attack off here, but I'm just making sure, with the remnants of my Black Knights that are really, really tattered, just routing off any infantry that I can. I land a pretty decent attack there on the Skink Priest, but obviously with the Stegodon he has a massive HP pool, and again I just get teamed up by Croc-Gar and the Feral Carnosaur, both of whom have good combat stats and good anti-large. I pop an Invocation of Nehek here, and I sort of he's nowhere near his healing cap, so obviously not having a lot of Winds of Magic left at the moment, I do sort of want to try and keep him fighting so I can make use of the hunger, but I am wary obviously that anything here that puts a few hits on him could potentially knock him off here with a couple of lucky hits. The Necromancer here has been pretty clutch, still just healing away. I think the Red Duke even is getting some healing now from the being in close proximity to the Necromancer. The Sternsmen are fighting on, still 42 of them. They've just held out all game here, and I have actually I give a move order to try and kill this guy, and he just paused for a minute here, and then I think I initially give a bit of a misclick here to bring him back to the fight. And in the split second between here, you see this is massive for my opponent. In the split second that he pulls off the fight here, before I can get the Black Knights on, the Skink Priest actually rallies. 9 leadership, so pretty clutch there. Pretty clutch rally there from my opponent, and he does manage to get the Necromancer down, which is a really handy pickup because I was right on the edge of getting another Raised Dead down, or another Forbidden Rod down, rather. I do terrify Croc-Gar, who is running here, and I think this is my chance. I've got to just get everything in on the Feral Carnosaur. So Foe Seeker here is popped. You see over here the Skink Priest has crumbled off those remaining Black Knights, and I think I'm a chance here. This guy has, that was probably a premature Elseif. I should have saved that as well for when he potentially came back, but that is a natural route now. And I'm just trying to get whatever I can, the Skeleton Spearman, just to keep him fleeing while I try and take out this Feral Carnosaur. Now he has rampaged, so obviously can't force path onto the Red Duke, so I'm fine with him attacking the Sternsmen at the moment, and I might be able to just finish him off if I get a few lucky attacks in with the Red Duke. But his attack animations are making that tough, and a nice Cold-Blooded is thrown down to get him out of frenzy. but a final hit there does will rout him and then will kill the Feral Carnosaur. So it's all down now to Krokgar, who does get one decent hit into the back of the Red Duke. I take off here because I think, all right, if I can kill Krokgar, the Skink Priest will probably flee. But I do sensing the opportunity here to get a hit in, jump down, and the Red Duke does get sniped out by Krokgar. And I figure at this point, even though the balance of power is just ever so slightly in my favour, given that the Sternsmen are reasonably healthy, and I can't believe at this stage how high their leadership is, especially given what my opponent has left. I figure I'm going to hit army losses, and I'm going to start. I'm going to start crumbling soon. But they hold on. They stabilize. 22 leadership. Not exactly, stellar. But I decide very deliberately to go into this wide formation here. I figure my opponent is going to just sort of wait for his leadership to stabilize as well, and give one final charge, probably with one of them going into the rear for the leadership penalty, so he can enforce crumbling quicker. But I'm thinking at this stage, a Skink Priest on a Stegodon, probably only needs to get one good hit, hence my spaghetti line here. I don't want him to take too many unit models with him when he gets an attack animation for me. But I figure as soon as basically either of these units make combat, we're going to start hitting army losses. But lo and behold, the Sternsmen here, holding the day like the absolute troopers they are. They get a couple of decent hits in on Krokgar here. In a second, you'll see his health just drop ever so slightly, ticking away. A few decent attacks into the flanks of the Skink Priests. Krokgar's leadership down to 5, and I still at this point I see the wavering and I think, all right, that's probably it. But 350, 330, Krokgar's leadership's holding strong at 5, and I figure with that attack and that many unit models disturbed, that's probably going to be it, given I am crumbling as well. But the Sternsmen managed to pull out probably one of the closest games they've had. Like I said, I mean, even in their state, their Krokgar and a Skink Priest on an Ancient Stegodon, I thought would have been enough to take out the remnants of the Sternsmen there. But yeah, a very, very close win. So an interesting force taken by my opponent here. I don't think the red crested skinks, I know they got a lot of kills, but a lot of them are going to be skeleton warriors, a lot of them are going to be zombies, and as I said during the cast, they just, even against trash infantry like skeleton spearmen and zombies, they take too much damage in a narrow front line like this. You need to have them mixed in with regular skink cohorts, maybe with another couple of units of Saurus warriors, so that they aren't taking all the damage. For instance, skeleton spearmen I think have a melee attack of 18 compared to red crested skinks melee defense of 19. So even these guys, I mean, red crested skinks have almost no armor, so they're going to be taking damage from skeleton spearmen, a unit that they're, I think, just slightly under twice the cost of. So you need these guys. They might do a bit of damage to even Graveguard. They're gonna struggle to get through Graveguard with their Graveguard's anti-infantry bonus. I don't know if this is a matchup where red crested skinks are great, but a couple of decent plays. Obviously, Saurus warriors, they're pretty, they're going to chew through my infantry pretty well. The Skink Priest on the Engine of the Gods got a couple of really good burning alignments down that put a lot of damage and thinned my front line. But like I said, I'm a big fan of the Red Duke. I really like him. I usually strip him back to not have raised dead casts. I use Invocation basically purely as a self-heal on him rather than an area of effect, and I rely on the Necromancer on the Corpse Cart to sort of give the passive regeneration to the front line and keep them in the fight. And then obviously with the Forbidden Rod and Summons, he can sort of buff the front line pretty well and buff the Winds of Magic, and allowing the Red Duke to use both Elseif and Curse of Years where he needs, and really just become an absolute bully. I think he, 37 kills isn't heap, but he put a ton of damage into the Skink Priest. He put a lot of damage into Krokgar. He took a bit of damage in return to the Feral Carnosaur. I probably left him in combat a couple of times. But all in all, a really, really good game. A really close game. As I said, when there was a Stegodon and a Croc-Gar staring down what was left of the Sternsmen. I thought I basically had no choice, but they are a pretty tough unit and managed to just tank it out and carry the day for Mousillon. So thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more ladder replays. Until then, take care.